So, my old nemesis, we meet again. The infamous proportional remote controlled car that we want to have converted to Bluetooth control so somebody in a power chair could switch their power chair stick over to Bluetooth, pair it, and then control their car. Oh, it's if it only was that easy. But let's talk about where we're at with this now. And I think I may have finally, I hope to God, made some progress on here. So, on this project, if you haven't been following it, the most recent iteration uses a Raspberry Pi Pico 2W. So, it's the wireless one that has Bluetooth and Wi Fi. We're just using Bluetooth. It gets it connected and it controls a digital potentiometer. So this is a computer-controlled potentiometer that then has the outputs like a typical potentiometer would have to match what's inside the stock remote. And this is the stock remote I had modified a long, long time ago to basically set it up so that you could either switch it to either local or adapted. Local meaning you use the controls on the remote, or adapted uses this setup. And all of this right now on my test bed is paired to this joystick, which is programmed as a mouse. So this is sending mouse commands, not joystick commands. Mouse. This is a mouse in joystick format. So, and it allows them, to keep moving it in one direction without keep moving a mouse like you would move a mouse. You get the idea. Okay, so what have I found most recently with the car? First off, this most recent board that I sent out had slightly different wiring than what I had originally adapted this with. This is what happens when when I don't crack something open for a year or two. So that was part of the problem. Part of the problem was purely wiring. That is why the car, when it was out to the user, was turning left okay, but it wouldn't turn right. So that's its own little thing. So wiring fixed. Once I got the wiring fixed, then I could actually go and tweak the code and make it do reasonable things and not shudder and stutter, and all sorts of strange things happen with this setup. So here's the most important that you're going to want to see. Moving the stick to the right, wheels go all the way to the right, left, a little bit. You can see it is proportional. You can see that tire shift in there. So there we go. So it is going to the limits in both directions. And there's also code in here that handles the auto centering. So if it hasn't centered for like a half a second once you've released, it will bring it into the position. That little last doot, that's the auto centering kicking in. It's also pulls down the acceleration. Now for the acceleration, what I found was pushing the stick forward was making it was a little too sensitive. You could trigger it accidentally. So I've added some code in there that adds a pseudo dead zone. This is a case where I want a bigger dead zone in my Y coordinate than I do in my X. So it is going to take less pressure to steer, but it's going to take more pressure to start the motor, start the acceleration. And this always scares my cats to death. And you can see once you let up on that stick, that safety kicks in pretty quick. And I did have it more granular, but then I realized that it's better just to have it stop completely than... Basically, if the user releases control, the car should stop. That's the way the code is. So acceleration is working fine. The steering looks like it's in good shape. And steering with acceleration. Now, the one thing that is not working, and really has not worked with this particular car since we got it, is reverse. I have tried, and I'm going to try again, but recalibrating the hand control to make reverse work properly. For some reason, it has not. It's something I'm struggling with, and it's really the last major component to see if I get to work. If I can't get it to work with the stock controller, I don't know what to say. I mean, we're that it is what it is at that point, which sucks because you really do need to be able to reverse a car, right? Anyhow, I'll try the recalibration again. If the recalibration works with this, then it should work fine with the mouse control. Now, one thing when I talked about another conversion, which was for the monster truck, when I pulled its remote control open, I noticed that it was not using linear potentiometers, it was using logarithmic. That problem has still not been solved, so this will not solve that particular problem. If I'm able to get a logarithmic pot that I can actually work with, it's a maybe. But that's the best I could say on the monster truck. This one works fine because its potentiometers inside here for the acceleration and the steering are standard. All the pots grounds are grounds, all the pots powers are powers. There's nothing shifty going on there. And it acts as a standard voltage divider. So it goes from low voltage to high voltage, mid voltage in the middle. So if it was 5 volts, 2.5 here, 0 theoretically, 5 volt theoretically. So this has what I call normal pots in it, which makes this work once I wired it correctly and then once I tweaked the code. The other one is doing some very goofy stuff, and this is one of the big sources of problems I've seen across multiple RC car conversions. This is the most complicated one I've done. But even for the cheaper ones, you know, like the sharper image ones that you can get at Walmart, they're too difficult to convert because of the way of their control mechanism works. I think I have a video somewhere about that, rant on that. But you would think that all of these cars kind of work the same. Well, not really. So that's part of the challenge. So anyhow, this is, at least the ranges are working now, right? And it goes forward at least, so just never hit a wall, I guess, is my recommendation. I'll take a look at the reverse. But again, if I can't get reverse on the controller with all this out of circuit, I don't know. Is it a bug in the controller? Who knows? Don't know.